Hi everyone, I'm Manny, and I'm going to introduce you to our spotlight artist.
Hi, my name is Rebeca Sanchez, aka 1B1C. I was born in Puebla, Mexico, and I've been in the US ever since I was 6 months.
What is your artistry?
In my art, I am a mixed media artist. That's how I would describe myself. From doing a lot of paintings with acrylic, gouache, paint markers, and especially collage using found materials I collect during my everyday life.
How have the arts impacted you?
It has impacted me in so many ways, from learning more about my culture, more about myself, about the environments I've lived in and visited. But, growing up, I've always had this spark for art, and it's been carried with me throughout middle school, high school, and it was something where I had to basically fight for this passion of mine. And it was a very difficult journey to get there, but I had so many amazing mentors like Renato de Guia, who is an amazing watercolor artist. And he was the one who really took me under his wing and paid for some of my art classes within the community in my local city, and he really pushed me into this art world that I didn't even know existed. And going to college, he actually really was the one that pushed me to focus in art and making it a career out of it. And it has brought me so many opportunities, such as traveling and meeting new artists and finding a community within this world, and especially kind of like learning more about galleries and stuff like that. So it has actually pushed me to become an art teacher myself. And within my classroom, I want to bring a sort of representation within my students. So this art career, not only as being an artist right here and being an art teacher, I wanted to be the kind of art teacher I wish I had in high school. So I also invite local artists from the community I've had in Long Beach to come and guest speak and meet my students, and hopefully my students get to see new artists that they wouldn't have known until they got to my class.
Can you explain why you chose your legendary artist?
The legendary artist I've chosen is Mark Bradford, and his name was a name that I remember hearing a lot in the art studio back in Long Beach. And it was aside from him being an LA native, kind of like myself, what really drawn me to his work was his art process. He has incredible large-scale paintings of kind of layering and sanding of found materials he would get within his own community, and just the beautiful intricacies inside his work. He grew up as a son of a hairdresser, and with his mother kind of being a beauty salon owner, he would find materials within the salon, like the permanent squares that people would do for their dyes, and he would use those squares for his collaging work. Within his art process, that kind of encouraged me to kind of push myself for large-scale paintings and experimenting with found materials and found objects. And he was somebody that I've always looked up to in terms of color and just experimentation within his work.
What advice would you give to a young artist?
Practice, practice, practice. Do. Within the art teacher, in myself, I tend to see a lot of my students very hesitant in making things perfect the first time. And I always have to remind them that don't expect to become a master artist overnight after one lesson or after a YouTube video. It's not going to happen. It took a long time for me to practice. I remember watching the how-to videos and the how-to books. I had so many embarrassing sketches that I still have within my studio. It can get embarrassing to look back at it, but I wouldn't be where I am today without those beautiful ugly drawings. Carry a sketchbook with you if you can. It doesn't have to be fancy. Again, the feeling of perfectionism can be can set us back so many times, and that's why I like to find a way to personalize my sketchbooks, make it my own, break it in, mess it up, and just just do an ugly drawing, even if it's just scribbles, even if it's just like taking your time of like watching a movie and just playing around with the pens that you have and see what comes out of it. Or even when you're waiting in line at the grocery store with your parents, draw fruit, draw a vegetable, draw the people in line. It doesn't have to be beautiful or pretty. It just helps to just do, practice as best as you can.